I guess I've already given a little bit of introduction in terms of who I am and what we do. I've kind of done a nice little segue in the fact that Mirvac's HQ at 200 George Street in Sydney was actually the first project in Australia to achieve WELL certification back in 2017. It achieved WELL certification at the gold level. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. At Mirvac, health and safety, it's woven into the fabric of our culture. And like many organizations, safety has always been fundamental to what we do. But we recognize that health and well-being also has an important role to play in our workplaces. And we recognize that we needed a stronger emphasis on the health and safety, and that employee well-being is crucial for our business across the broader community for not only sustained performance, but also for our people to feel energized, engaged, and enabled to do what they can do and perform at their best while at work. At Mirvac, our HSE vision is simple. We want to continue to pursue safety excellence, but we want to move beyond preventing harm. We want to improve the overall well-being of our employees, suppliers, the community, and the environment. And we have, as part of our health and safety strategy known as Thrive, that can help support that vision. We want to empower our people to be the healthiest and the safest that they can be. We want to be recognized as the healthiest and the safest organization in the industry. We want to reimagine the benchmarks for healthy places, and we want to enrich the well-being of our community. Now, in order to do that, health, safety, and well-being, they need to be placed at the core of every design decision, which is what we do at Mirvac. And as a designer, developer, and asset manager, we're in a unique position to have a positive influence on everybody that's impacted by the business. And we do that through a process which internally is known as our DOOR procedure, which is safety and design, an acronym that stands for design out our risk. But we don't stop there. We don't want to just design out risk. We want to design in opportunities for our people to thrive in our workplaces. And that's why the WELL certification was so appealable to Mirvac, because it helps us get that recognition for all the great things that we're doing within our buildings. And it starts with simple things like air. We want to maximize fresh air intake and indoor plants, natural material selection for our desks, for our furniture, for the carpets, the paint that we use. We know that oxygen is vital for life, and fresh air can have a huge impact on our employee well-being and performance in the workplace. We want to bring as much of the outdoors in as we possibly can, which incorporates an abundance of natural light in our workplaces. And again, light is a key part of the WELL certification. We all know that our circadian rhythms are impacted by light in the workplace. And Jack, I'll let you add a little more. You'll have a lot more detail on that than me. But also we have other things like a strong commitment from our senior leaders. Within our tenancy at 200 George Street here in the EY Centre in Sydney, we have an internal staircase. Now, I'm sure you guys know that net lettable area is where you get the return on investment for your tenancies. And at Mirvac, we've foregone that space so that we could encourage movement throughout the day for our people. But not just that. When you have a nice wide staircase and landings that have seating and nice open space, it encourages those impromptu interactions and connections throughout the day. And that has a huge benefit for our people with our internal networking. We also have stand-to-sit desks. Again, we're humans. We're built to move throughout the day. We don't need to sit down all day. And we have world-class end-of-trip facilities that encourage our people to ride, run, walk to work, but also to take time out at lunchtime or during the workday to exercise, to get up and move and participate in the exercise classes that we have in our dedicated wellness space within our tenancy. We have an on-site cafe that makes healthy options easy. You need to make well-being convenient for people, because I think we've all seen the options that we have at cafes and things around the place, and they're not always the healthiest. We provide whole food options that have low sugar content in our cafe. Another key thing that we have incorporated into our office fit out are dedicated collaboration or focus zones. I think we've all had those projects where we've had to come in and just put the head down, get straight to work, and the external environment in the office can actually have a huge impact on your ability to focus, to get that job done. And if you're not able to achieve that, that can actually impact on your mental health and your well-being. So we've got a space for you in our workplace if that's what you need to do for today. And on the flip side, we've got collaboration spaces. We need each other to thrive off of. We need to collaborate so that we can be more creative. And having those collaboration spaces allows our teams to work together in a really effective way. Now, the physical space is just one part. It's just one piece of the puzzle. We then have the policies, procedures, and our culture that we need to embed this change and encourage that behavior change. And again, the WELL certification program looks at everything. It's a holistic approach to wellness in the workplace. We have flexible work policies that were in place long before COVID, which made the transition really easy for our employees and for the business. Our leaders openly share what their healthy thing is. What do they do to maintain their health and well-being? What's their simple thing that they do on a weekly, on a daily basis to get through? We've got a domestic violence policy. We have 20 weeks paid parental leave. We've got mental health programs, mental health first aid training, resilience, alcohol and other drugs. We've got an abundance of things that we use to enforce that culture within Mirvac. And it was our mission to be recognized as the healthiest and the safest in the industry that led us to the WELL certification. It's great that we're doing all these things, but how do we get global recognition that's not only backed by science, but also medical and architectural data and research? And this is where we joined forces with the WELL certification program to get that recognition. And Jack has mentioned that we got gold certification for our head office here in Sydney, but our more recent projects are now targeting the Platinum WELL certification, which is the next step up. We've also committed to having gold standard as the minimum for our workplaces going forward. And that gives confidence and commitment for us to not only attract and retain the best employees, but also the customers. They're going to want to come to our buildings. They're going to want to be here to thrive in a Mirvac workplace.
Awesome, Amanda. I must admit, I have been to the Mirvac HQ in Sydney a number of times, and I love walking into that space. I mean, not only do you have the benefit of some amazing Sydney Harbour views, but I think it says a lot that when you walk into a space like that, you're not necessarily your attention isn't completely on the Sydney Harbour views, because you've actually designed a space that is very interesting as well. And I'm very lucky that I get to see some amazing workplaces. And one thing that really appeals to me about the Mirvac workplace is that there are these design elements across the entire workplace that are very deliberate. I'm thinking about that amazing internal staircase that you're talking about. I would encourage people to Google the image. If you look at Mirvac 200 George Street, you'll see the internal staircase that we're talking about. I do like also the focus on equity, and this is something that I think will continue to come up. The fact that these sit-stand desks are actually encouraging behaviour change, not asking people to opt in, but basically just providing that healthy choice to them. I'm conscious that we're probably running out of a little bit of time, but I'm just interested to hear from you, Amanda. What's your favourite aspect in terms of, this session's about how design can influence behaviour change. What's your favourite kind of design intervention associated with your office?
The convenience. It's made easy for us. We've got the healthy options, we've got the desk, we've got the staircases, so there's no excuse. When it's right there and it's in front of you, health and well-being is easy when it's an unconscious choice, when it's simple.
And I guess just with the last couple of minutes, I want to kind of shift focus in terms of what we see as kind of some of the longer term international trends as well. Perhaps from your perspective, Amanda. Certainly from our perspective, we're definitely seeing an increased trend around lighting. And you've touched on this already, but this idea of circadian lighting, I think is just so important. I think often in Australia, we forget the role that lighting has on our health and well-being, that it disrupts our circadian rhythms, that, if you're on your iPhone or you're on the laptop quite late at night, you find that you don't have as good a night's sleep. But the lighting that we have in our workplaces can also have a huge impact as well. So that's certainly a trend that we're seeing internationally, that is just starting to make its way into Australian workplaces. But what about you? What are some of the kind of trends that you're seeing either within Mirvac or externally as well?
We're seeing that our tenants are also committing to this, and they're seeking out additional things that they can do within their workplaces and coming to Mirvac for advice for what we have done. We offer tours of our workplace here at 200 George Street so that we can influence other people to do the same things that we have done to, again, put the health and safety and to help their employees to thrive in that environment. And like we said, when you walk into the space here at 200 George Street, you feel that fresh air, you can feel the natural light, and it feels like you're not in a workplace. It feels more like a hotel type space that you're in.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm just wondering if we've got any questions here. I think we've got a couple. I see Paul Edwards is on the line from Mirvac as well. Hi, Paul. Nice to see you here. Any questions? Got a lot of great feedback, which is great. How do you build a culture of time to self-care in the face of corporate owner focus on financial productivity goals? Any thoughts around that?
That starts at the top. You need to lead by example. Within Mirvac, we have 4 workspace safe behaviors, which are always put safety first. If safety is not the first step in what you do, what is? You need to cut risks and not corners. Lead by example, and it's your responsibility. And our leaders in Mirvac are very effective at demonstrating that. And again, sharing. You have to communicate openly with our employees to set the standard and to know what the expectations of the business are.